Okay, I'm here to teach you guys how to make friends. Like, this is what the title says, by the way. How to make friends, where to find a place where you can belong and stuff like that. And I'm about to show you the steps to do that. But before we do, I gotta show you some examples of great friends. Now, this guy right here is a good friend. He is very encouraging, he's very nice, he says some very nice words, and he's a great leader to only one person and halflings. But that's not really important right now. And this guy is also a really good friend. He's loyal, he wouldn't kill his best friend just to get some bird pussy that he could never ever get. And he doesn't get at the end of the series. That is not a spoiler at all. And this guy right here, he would literally ride and die with his friends, minus the whole dying part with his friends. But at least he got tattoos to symbolize that he still cares about them, but he got them after they died, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So we're just gonna move on. Now, your appearance is really key to basically like showing off that like, oh, I'm a pretty chill dude, I'm ready to make friends and shit like that. You don't want to be overdressed, like you don't want to be like too loud with what you're wearing or too like obscure with what you're wearing. I mean, like, who wears this outside, like I wouldn't be friends with this guy, like under like some special circumstances. And you don't want to be underdressed. You don't want to look like that. You didn't put any thought at all into your clothes, or like you literally look like you just slept in that shit last day. Like you want to be in the middle of these two. Also, rule of thumb, do not, and I repeat, do not have an EOS R50 Canon camera. Do not have an EOS R50 Canon camera. That sends bad vibes, apparently. Okay, anyway, now we can get on to step one, which is meeting people. Now, this is pretty obvious. I mean, you gotta talk to people and like meet them and shit like that to like be friends with them. Now, you might see them from a distance and be like, hey, this person looks pretty cool, I want to hang out with them. So you approach, you put your hand out, and you're like, hi, how are you? And there you go, like you met that person. I wouldn't really recommend a whole crowd of people, because like that's kind of weird to force yourself into them. But I wouldn't recommend just one person either, unless under some special circumstances. Maybe a small group of people, and then like you just kind of just hop in or just see stuff like that. I don't fucking know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know about this fucking part. Now, where do you find people? I'm sure I know about this part. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people out there in the world. There's a bunch of people out there. I could probably just look out my window and like see somebody. But you want to find the right people. You want to find people who are degenerates, part of a certain group I won't name for reasons. Like these people are weird. Like you don't want to talk to them or be friends with them. Like, what are you thinking, trying to be friends with those kind of people? No, you might want to go to a lunchroom. Get your Chick-fil-A bag and shit like that, and you might want to just approach somebody and like like meet them and shit like that, and then boom, you're friends. I'm sure these guys are gonna go down in history as great friends together. But if you're in a work setting, which I can't imagine myself because I don't have a fucking job, and I probably never will, because trying to get one is fucking impossible. But anyway, you might want to approach this very approachable young office worker. Like you might want to approach him, and be friends with him, motherfucker. And you're gonna see him every day, so like you get a friend to see every day, and you could go on lunch breaks and shit together. I'm sure he's pretty nice. Now, talking to people, that is step two. Talk to people. You gotta talk to them. Now, you don't want to be too serious with your conversation. Like you're just meeting this guy. They might ask you, why are you being so serious? And like you might just start beatboxing or some shit. Now, you want to make sure that your volume is the correct amount of volume and shit like that. Like you don't want to be too loud or too quiet. Like I think this is the right amount of perfect. Like these guys are just listening in this conversation with like these two people, and like he's using the correct amount of like volume when he's talking. And also, you want to make sure that your eye contact is really, really good too with this person, because you don't want to be looking odd, looking like you're fucking cross-eyed or something like that. You want to make sure that you're looking at them, you're talking to them, and you're giving them the right body language. This young gentleman is doing it perfectly. I would recommend doing it like him. Now, Remember, communication is key. If you have something to say, I want you to say it, and I want you to tell them and be straight up, because there's a lot of fake people who won't tell you anything, and bad shit could happen. You know, like a bunch of bad shit could happen. I wouldn't really know nothing about that, totally, not at all. You know, that has never happened to me before. Just remember, communication is key. Just be honest, just be straight up. And also, do not withhold shit if it's like making you feel a certain type of way. You know, like the other person isn't a mind reader and you aren't a mind reader either. So just keep that in mind when talking to people. And also, if you're on the receiving end of this, be mindful of this. Fucking assholes. Anyway, step 3, you gotta get to know the person. You know, like you want to make sure that you are talking to them and you're engaged with them. Like, look at these people, they're knowing each other pretty well, they look like they're getting along pretty well, and so are these people too. I mean, like, they look like they're playing a fun little game, little fun exercise to know each other. And also, if you're not sure what to do, just strike up an interesting conversation. You know, like a conversation piece. Ask a very interesting question, and let's see where the conversation goes from there. Now, step 4, you gotta hang out with them too. You gotta hang out with the people you want to be friends with. You know, like you just met them. You know, like maybe you met them online, and then like people were saying like, oh, you look pretty similar, and you just meet online, and you do some really cool videos on 2 channels. I watch both of their videos, and they look like good friends. Or you might just want to like do some cool hood shit or whatever the fuck. I mean, look at these fine gentlemen. You know, they look fucking ready for anything. And like, or you might want to do a little group fun exercise together. I'm sure this gives a lot of cardio in. You know, like that could be fun to do with friends. And how to make friends too. Okay, now these are places that I wouldn't really recommend to go. You don't want to go somewhere grimy or claustrophobic or like just small and like empty environment. I mean, like, what are you supposed to do here? I'm sure nothing fun goes here. Also, don't go somewhere silly. I mean, like, this place looks pretty fun. Like, when you look at it, you know, it might make you chuckle, but you know, if you go there, it might be just a little tad silly for you to be there. And also, I wouldn't really recommend going to college dorm lobbies, especially if you are invited and said person lies and says you weren't invited and proceed to call the cops on you. But you know, I really wouldn't know anything about that, so we're just gonna move on. Now, congratulations, you now have friends. You have a group of people that understand you and accept you and are part of your community, and you are able to do really fun activities with them, and you are now with them and integrated them for the rest of your life, and you were always there to begin with. You just didn't know from the beginning. There we go. You now have friends. Thanks for watching so much, guys. I promise I'll make more videos, but you guys know I'm already lying. So yeah, I hope you have a good night. I hope you have a good morning too if you're waking up. I hope you have a good Easter. I hope you have a good Christmas. I hope you have a good Hanukkah. I hope you have a